Have you ever scrolled through your contacts list, looking at hundreds of names, friends from high school, colleagues, people you met at a party once, and realized that if you were truly in trouble, or if you simply wanted to have a conversation about the things that actually matter, there is almost no one to call? We live in the connection economy. We have followers, connections, networks, and mutuals. But we are suffering from a famine of Philia, the Greek word for friendship. We treat friendship like a low-maintenance hobby, something that just happens if we hang out enough. But what if I told you that 2,400 years ago, Socrates walked into a wrestling school and argued that friendship is actually the most difficult, intellectual, and high-stakes project of a human life? Today, we are discussing Plato's Lysis. It is a dialogue that completely destroys our modern, sentimental ideas about friendship. It isn't a warm, fuzzy book about how friends are forever. It is a surgical dismantling of why we like people, why we love people, and why most of our relationships are built on total illusions. If you have ever felt lonely in a crowd, or wondered why your relationships feel superficial, this book is the answer key you have been looking for. The core message of Lysis is a radical and somewhat uncomfortable truth. We only love what is useful to us. Now, before you click away thinking Socrates is a sociopath, let me explain. The dialogue begins with Socrates meeting a man named Hippothales, who is obsessed with a young boy named Lysis. Hippothales writes poems for Lysis, praises him, and worships the ground he walks on. He thinks this is love. Socrates stops him and says, essentially, you are doing it wrong. By inflating his ego, you are making him harder to catch. True friendship isn't about flattery, it's about utility. Socrates argues that we do not love people simply because they exist. We love them because they possess some good that we lack. A sick body loves medicine. A poor man loves money. A philosopher loves wisdom. Therefore, a human being is only lovable insofar as they are knowledgeable, wise, and good. The core philosophy here is that friendship is the pursuit of the good through another person. It challenges the modern notion of unconditional love. Plato argues that love is highly conditional. It is conditional on wisdom. If you are ignorant, useless, and have no desire to improve, you are philosophically speaking unlovable. This sounds harsh, but it is actually the ultimate empowerment. It means the only way to be loved is to become a better, wiser version of yourself. Let's break this down into 3 profound insights that will change how you view your social circle. Insight number 1, the trap of like attracts like versus opposites attract. We've all heard these cliches. My partner and I are so similar, or we are total opposites. That's why it works. Socrates examines both and throws them both in the trash. He argues that bad men cannot be friends with bad men because they will hurt each other. But good men cannot be friends with good men simply because they are good. Why? Because if you are perfectly good, you are sufficient. You don't need anything. And if you don't need anything, you cannot desire a friend. The insight here is that friendship requires a specific state of deficiency. We are the intermediate. We are not gods perfectly wise, and we are not completely evil ignorant. We are in the middle. We are friends because we feel a lack. We realize we are broken, incomplete, or ignorant, and we seek a friend who has the medicine for our specific sickness. Friendship is not about looking in a mirror, like attracts. Like it is about finding the piece that completes the puzzle. Insight number 2, the concept of the first friend. This is one of the most mind-bending concepts in the book. Socrates asks, why do we love anything? You love medicine to get health. You love health to live longer. You love life too. Be happy? He argues that all our loves are just steps on a staircase. We love A for the sake of B and B for the sake of C. But this chain cannot go on forever. There must be a first friend, pronton philon, a terminal object of love. For many of us, our anxiety comes from not knowing what our first friend is. We chase money, status, or partners, treating them as the final destination. But they are just steps. Plato suggests that true friendship is when 2 people realize they are not looking at each other. They are both looking at the same first friend, which is truth, or the good. If your friendship doesn't have a shared why, it will eventually collapse. Insight number 3, usefulness is the magnet of intimacy. Socrates sits down with the young Lysis and asks him a brutal question. Lysis, do your parents love you? Lysis says, of course. Socrates replies, then why do they let the slave drive the chariot? But they forbid you from touching the reins? Why do they let the slave cook, but forbid you from touching the fire? The answer is knowledge. The slave knows how to drive, Lysis does not. Therefore, in that moment, the slave is more useful and given more trust than the son. The insight is that freedom and intimacy are born from competence. If you want to be dear to someone, if you want to be trusted, you must know something. Ignorance makes us strangers even to our own families. Wisdom makes us friends to the whole world. If you feel isolated, stop trying to be charming. Start trying to be capable. So how do we apply this to our lives tomorrow? First, audit your transactionality. We are taught that relationships shouldn't be transactional. Plato says they must be transactional, but the currency matters. Are you trading gossip for validation? Are you trading alcohol for distraction? Or are you trading insight for growth? Change the currency of your friendships from pleasure to wisdom. Second, become useful to your own soul. If you feel lonely, it is often because you have nothing to offer yourself. You are bored with your own mind. Invest in your own competence, read, learn, build character. As Socrates told Lysis, if you become wise, everyone will want to be your friend because you will be useful and good. Finally, identify the intermediate. Stop looking for perfect friends. Stop looking for people who are exactly like you. Look for the people who, like you, admit they are not perfect, but are actively striving toward the good. That shared struggle is the strongest bond on earth. The dialogue of Lysis ends in a strange way. Socrates admits he still can't perfectly define friendship. They walk away in confusion. But that is the point. Friendship isn't a definition to be memorized. It is an infinite inquiry to be lived. Don't settle for contacts. Go find a partner in wisdom.